We are having 3 questions for our poll. Let us do at least one. So, you have the equipment to voice your opinions. Please take this piece of equipment, and after you hear the sound, please make your choice, the one which you think is preferable answer to the question that we have been raising repeatedly today as to what best supports the development of sustainable and predictable gas market. 1, long-term contracts, and 2, spot market. The sound has rung. Half a minute we have. I'm not advising to anyone, I'm just consulting as to how to vote, as to what we are voting on. We have kind of isolated you in terms of your seat. Well, I can tell you about my vote choice, but later on. So this picture is quite interesting. So 3/4 think that long-term contracts will best support the development of sustainable and predictable gas market, but about 25%, slightly less, believe in spot market. Thank you very much. So let us perhaps just one more question, and well, I know that many of you who want to speak will be having a grudge against me, but just as we did last year with guessing the crude price, it was interesting for the entire audience. Let us now vote with only heads of oil and gas companies who are professionals in terms of price and are forecasting prices for their investment policies. Please, only heads of oil and gas companies have a vote. Well, for 8 years I was the president of the board of Gazprom. Can I also vote? Well, if you do remember that, please. Well, just one vote of my input. Okay, you see the question. What will the European gas price be in 2013? So let us now see how many people think they're heads of oil and gas companies. So the bell has rung. Clock is ticking. Well, quite modest, I believe. Well, I thought we had about 20. Your vote counts for 2, Mr. President. Alexei Borisovich, are you happy with that? You know, frankly speaking, I can tell you that this couldn't happen because this couldn't happen in principle. Talking about the price of 200, 300, it is even higher now. But in terms of an uptrend, it is absolutely positive. And I can tell you that the uptrend will be both in terms of crude prices, and an uptrend will be explained by the fact that gas will be using as motor fuel as well, with a heavier role in the transportation sector. Let's see what happens next year. But mostly heads of companies are buyers here, you know. But they have their own interests. All right. You know, since we have been... Where is Stas Voskresensky, who is steering the schedule? Do we have a couple of minutes more, Dmitry Anatolyevich? Yes, interesting. Do you want to have another poll? One question after we're through with time. And now I would like to address the heads of the companies who were really developing shale gas, to say just in 2 words about the risks which they envisage in Europe, and as to how Europe and whether Europe could follow the US example. I would like to ask this question to Mr. Paulos Karoni. Very briefly, just 1 minute, if possible.
Yes, let me just say that After many years of a boring gas market in which the market used to grow 2-3% per annum, few suppliers, and everything very stable, today we are living very hectic times. Certainly it's not anymore boring, the European gas market. Spot prices are half the long-term oil-linked prices. We have to cope with new competition. Everything is really very new for us. Now, will the gas shales be the answer for Europe? Frankly, I doubt, for two reasons. First of all, Europe has an amount of population which makes it quite difficult to do the same things that we do in Texas, so I think we know what are the consequences of the exploitation of the gas shale. And second, for me, is quite crucial the fact that in most of the world, I think certainly all over Europe, the owner of the land does not own what is underneath, which makes very difficult, and you have to deal with two entities in an activity which is already very complex. So I think that gas shales development in Europe will be fairly limited.
Thank you very much. And since we are talking shale gas in Europe and not being the alternative for Europe, and Russia, as many said, will be the key source of gas globally, I would like to ask Mr. Christophe de Margerie to say just a few words about the Stockman field as the potential source of gas, as to how competitive it could be in the new conditions which we're referring to, and how cooperation in this area is important.
I will make just a few comments to come on this. First, why? I will be talking about gas then. Because there is a lot of gas, and the problem in our industry, in our world, when there is a lot of gas, you don't talk about gas. When there is a lot of oil, you don't talk about oil. And when it becomes short, you will talk about gas again. So be careful. That will come just naturally. That's why, you have to invest when it's at the lower part of the cycle. Today the prices are low because there is a bubble. It's the right time to invest. When you invest today, Stockman is 2016, 2017. And for new project, it will be 2020. So if you know what the price will be, tell me. But I've been one of the ones to say more than 400. Because whatever it is, what is your year, the tendency is for upward. And that's why we are part of Stockman. And the only message we have to Stockman, we have to be on time. And don't listen to those who say the prices are low. It's better to make this project being delayed. It's better to produce as soon as we can. It's for 25 years and more. It's a first tranche of big projects. Don't wait. There will be only thing to lose. And my last comment will be on environment. Just be careful. After the spill in the Gulf of Mexico, I know it's oil and not gas, but it's energy. It's oil and gas. It will be even more difficult to produce oil and gas in the years to come because of the concern about the environment. And this concern about the environment will be also true for gas and for shale gas. And it will not be, it's offshore versus onshore. It will be all environmental concern. That's certainly normal. And it will be also the case for all of our projects, including Stockman. So we have to be very careful on the way we produce even gas being onshore and offshore. Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the last question of mine, of ours, will go to representatives of largest oil and gas company. One question per three. So just indeed 1 or 2 words, and then Mr. Sechin and Mr. Miller were saying that it is paramount to diversify, including the gas flows, which generate more leeway in terms of that for producers and consumers. We have here Gaz de France and Gazuni, the Minister of Energy of Turkey. From your point of view, how important this diversification is, and the investments which are being made into the new pipelines is the right thing to do, or whether it's the loss of your money? Gaz de France, please, Vice Chairman of the Board.
Diversification is important. And there are a lot of projects. We will participate in this project. We will tomorrow sign the entry into Nord Streams, which is clearly a new diversification for Europe. So as soon as we know that our energy policies in Europe favors gas, and that's the problem of the voice of gas, again, that the demand will be there. There will be financing for the pipes. No problem for that if there is a demand. So we have to work on the demand first, maybe.
Okay, Gazuni. One word, Sudan.
Thank you very much. First of all, economic and other history teaches us that diversification of supply routes is prudent. You don't do it on your own initiative, you do it to follow a market, to support the market, to create value for the reserve holder and to create value for the user of the natural gas. Diversification is affordable. If you look at the typical cost of major trunk pipelines in Europe, they represent only a very small fraction, less than 5%, far less than that in most cases, in the end user bill. It's a minor premium which is well paying, but in the first place it's a necessity for creating value upstream and downstream. So it's affordable, it's prudent, and a condition for creating value. There are two words of caution. One is lead times, as we have learned in this business, are very long. You have to go cross-border. That triggers its own challenges. And finally, we have to make sure that we resolve the issues around the patchwork of regulatory systems in Europe, which can be a real obstacle to the good flow of gas, which we just all agreed is the best fuel to have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The country which benefited a lot from diversification is Turkey. You are the minister, but still 2 words, please.
İşte Türkiye size mi bahsedeyim?
Bir kere öncelikle organizasyona çok teşekkür ediyorum. Global krizin tesirinde çok farklı konulardan bahsetmek zorundayız.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting and for this wonderful organization. And we're talking here about various important issues.
Hükümetler yatırımlarla özel şirketlerin arasındaki korelasyonu vatandaşı da göz önüne alarak düşünmek durumundalar.
Well, governments have to think the correlation between the state and private sector by taking into account the interest of their nations.
O yüzden Türkiye bir transit ülkesi olarak da doğusundaki kaynakları Rusya'nın da dahil olduğu batısındaki tüketim noktalarına aktarma durumundadır farklı projelerle.
Therefore, Turkey is in the situation of transporting these resources that are located in its east to the consumer countries that are located in its west.
Ve yine petrol kaynakları için de aynı şey söz konusudur ve burada projelerin geliştirilmesi Boğaz geçişleri içinde yaklaşık 150 milyon tonluk bir geçişi düzenlemektedir.
Therefore, Turkey is currently working on various projects. The priority project for Turkey is the passage through the Bosphorus. Right now, 150 million barrels are passing through Bosphorus.
Sonuç cümlesi olarak söylenecek çok şey var ama tüketicilerle üreticiler el ele verip bunu çözmek durumundadırlar. Teşekkür ediyorum.
The last sentence, of course, there are a lot to say, but I think that both consumers and producers should come together and hand in hand should solve all the current issues. Thank you.